when that satanic altar or Baphomet statue, whatever it was, which was placed there, they applied for it to put their display up to the Department of Administrative Services. It was approved, and then it appeared one day.
Oh, so it did show up at the Capitol.
Oh, yeah.
In Des Moines.
I'm talking 2023.
Okay, yep.
This is in 2023 when I was in the legislature. And people were absolutely outraged.
Yeah, it's a horrible abomination.
Yeah, and so I knew then that this is not covered by First Amendment. We had laws that would have prohibited that. The courts upheld those laws up until the 50s, maybe later. That was called blasphemy, and that's not something that we allow. And so my position was that this is not protected under the First Amendment. This is something that we have to stand against. We don't give them the right to do that. Now, if somebody wants to believe in Satan, worship Satan, have a Baphomet statue on their private property, I don't recommend it, but that's their business.
Yeah.
But in a government building, we don't do that because it's back to that argument we talked about, and that is that there's no such thing as neutrality in government.
Yeah. And here's the deal. I mean, Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's like I don't care if there were writings supporting the Satanists having this. Like, this is our enemy. He's trying to kill us.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, none of our founders ever thought the First Amendment would give Satan the right to have equal status with God, and that was my argument back then. So I wrote three articles, maybe a fourth one, and we're getting those put up on my website now because this has become an issue. And so back then, I was pointing out that this is harmful to our children. The Satanic Temple organization, they like to start clubs called after-school Satan clubs on public property. They did this in Illinois. They're wanting to do it in other places around the country. So I took a stand on that. I wrote articles. Those articles got national attention. Not a huge national attention, but they were spread. Yeah. They were spread out there.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, one commentator, a national commentator, they were talking about this on a national talk show. And they said there's only one legislator really taking a stand, and that's Sherman in Iowa against this. And so anyway, I asked Governor Reynolds to remove it.
Yeah.
I wrote in one of my articles, I called on her to remove it. I said, I'm asking you to remove this because you're the executive. And I don't, I called her later, and I knew she was getting a lot of pressure. I said, I want you to know I don't blame you for this. This is a result of a misunderstanding of the First Amendment that's been going on for decades.
Yeah.
But I did call on you to remove it because you're the executive.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, they'll sue us. And I said, well, let them sue us. That's a good lawsuit. Let's get it on. You
get sued all the time. Who cares?
So anyway, long story short, of course, there was a side story to it. Some guy from Mississippi came up and knocked it down. That's another.
Yeah, I kind of cheered for him, actually.
Yeah, that was another piece of drama. But anyway, that was approved. I called on anybody who had the right to or the authority to do something to remove that in 2023. They didn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we went around to 2024 then, and during the summer of 2024, the rules got changed.
Yeah.
The rules used to say that you could apply for a display in the Capitol. And it would be there for a 2-week period. Well, they changed the rules so that you can only do one display per year. It's for one day, and you have to have somebody with it every day.
Yeah, yeah,
all day long.
Yeah,
and so that actually ended up blocking some good Christian events. Here recently, there was an organization for homeless veterans that couldn't do their thing because of those rules.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a really bad rule change, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so then we come around to 2024, and the Satanic Temple applied once again for their display, and it went on the official calendar. It was on the calendar.
It was approved.
Yeah. Well, I asked the guy that approved it, one of the candidates.
This is one of your opponents.
Yeah, I asked him. I said that when he said, "Well, it wasn't approved. It was just on the calendar." And it's like I don't know the difference between that, honestly. But anyway, so there was again public outrage on that issue, and so finally, in November of 24, then they finally did say no.
Okay.
To that,
the governor's office and
and I know the governor a lot of people were talking to the governor about that, and honestly, so anyway, what happened is the day that I mentioned to you earlier in this interview that I called Governor Reynolds and told her I was going to run for governor.
Yeah,
that was in the midst of this whole argument.
Yeah,
And so I called her.
Yep.
Well, actually, I texted her and said, I need to talk to you. And she says, oh, I know what you want to talk about. You want to talk about the Satanic Temple
Yeah,
thing,
you're
right?
probably sick and tired of hearing about that.
And I said, well, no, actually, I want to talk to you about something else. And so she called me then.
And she's like, oh, finally, another conversation.
And so that's when I told her I was going to run for governor. But I think it was like 2 days after we had that conversation that this Satanic Temple thing got denied.
Yeah.
Now, was that because she was planning to run at that point? And was that because she didn't want that hanging over her head? I don't know. I can't prove that.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But I would, if I was in that position, I wouldn't want that hanging over my head.
Yeah, right.
And so those are just some dots you have to connect. Each person can draw their own conclusions on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the one opponent here who was director in the governor's race now, who was the director, he claimed credit for saying, I'm the guy that said no to the satanic altar. Well, he did technically, but there's more to the story.
Right. Yeah. And it's just so everybody knows, it's Adam Steen who did this whole thing. And whatever, we love Kim and we love, I was actually a lot better off. So but we're in primary season and it's really important that we dive into these issues and get to know it. So I just thank you just for kind of sharing the depth of perspective. And I know nobody likes to badmouth anybody, but it's really important. Listen, I went to prison for this, for praying at the Capitol on January 6th. And so it's important to me to have politicians in power that will do the right thing without having to have a public outcry before they get it done. So that's just that's what we need. You talk about a republic. We have to be able to have the discernment and wisdom, which comes from God. So pray yourself up, get yourself full of God, and then discern who to vote for. Because it's so much work as a people to elect people that need to be steered by public outrage.